back with another video. So in today's video, I'm coming very different. I'm coming with a bare face, which is something I never really do. But that's because in today's video, I'm going to be trying a new technique. I'm going to be trying Tailor Made Jane's technique. Tailor Made Jane is a really popping YouTuber, and her skin routine is very like that of the like professional makeup artist that does like celebrities makeup and stuff like that. And I want to try it because I want to test my abilities. So if you're interested in seeing if I succeed or fail at this, then keep on watching. The first thing that she does in her videos is prime her face, of course. This is very different from me. I always start off with my eyes first and then I go into doing the skin. So I'm going to be taking my Milk Hydro Grip Primer and I'm going to put it in the areas that need it the most. I don't use this all over because I don't need to. Like, I don't really have oily skin. Like I used to, but I still get oily on my nose, so I just use a soft primer. I'm gonna put some on my forehead too, because why not, you know. I've already prepped my skin off camera. I always do my skin right when I wake up in the morning. So I use my Ole Henriksen Truth Serum set I got from Sephora. So I'm going to now just place some of my Fenty Beauty Soft Matte Primer just on my nose because I don't really get oily everywhere, but I do tend to get oily on my nose. I think it's because my nose is very textured. And damn, that's a lot. And I just get a lot of buildup, you know. I do not understand how scared I am to attempt this, but no turning back now. Okay, so I'm already ahead of the game. She's priming now. I've already primed. And I'm just like looking at her video on YouTube for reference because I've been watching her technique for like some weeks now, but like there's no way I can memorize all of this. First thing that Tailor Made Jane does in her videos, she takes a flat foundation brush like this and she just begins by placing it all over, well, not all over her face, but in certain areas on her face, like her jawline and her forehead, I believe. I'm watching the video too, so don't mind me if I'm looking down. So I got this e.l.f. brush yesterday for $2 in Walgreens because in her video she's using a MAC brush, but I didn't want to spend that kind of money if like this technique doesn't work for me. I'm going to be going in with my ABH Luminous Foundation in the shade 500C. Really flat on my skin. It helps me distribute the product evenly. Okay, that's the first step, is taking it and placing it along your jawline. Like 1.5 pumps. Everything that I do to one side, I'm always going to do on the other side. If I do 3 on top, I'm going to do 3 on contour. I'm gonna brush it on the side of my nose a bit, so when I do that contour and that concealer, it just blends in. Then we just put it on my forehead. And she places it on the sides of her nose. Like contours hers, and I'm not, maybe because my nose is built different, I'm not really achieving the same thing as she is. So far, this is how we're looking. We just have foundation first. And now she takes her brightest concealer and she's using a Tarte Shape Tape concealer, but the brightest I have is my Juvia's Place concealer. I typically highlight with this anyway, and this is in the shade J10. And place it right here, just a little bit. And I'm gonna do the same. Okay. I hope I come out snatched. Concealer that is a lot less lighter, a little more darker. And I'm gonna take my Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Chestnut. Black is what we're gonna put on. That's how flat it is. When I be telling y'all I'm not using a lot of product, like I be serious. Like it looks like, it may look like a lot of product, but it don't be. Well, to me it don't be. You know, and some people might be like, girl, bye, that is a lot of product. All right, and then we're just gonna go down the nose. So now we're contouring. Unlike Miss Tailor Made Jane, I do not have a contour stick, but I do have something to contour with. I have the Huda Beauty Tantour contouring bronzing cream, and I'm just going to take like a flat brush and carve out like how she did in her.
And I feel like that's enough. I haven't been contouring my jaw lately. I don't know why I did in the last video. But it's like, that's enough.
Okay. I feel like I look like a real like product of a makeup artist in Hollywood. Like, my makeup probably has dried down for a little bit because I had to stop in between and take a picture for a thumbnail. The first thing that my good sis does is blend out the foundation, and she uses an angled brush. Real Technique Instapop face brush, I think, but I could not find that in Walgreens. So what I do have is this angled It Cosmetics brush that I got from Marshall's, I believe. So if you are interested, check that haul out. I think this should do because the brush that she's using looks angled. So I think I should be able to achieve the same results. If not, you know, this is trial and error, but let's just see.
The foundation one, you just start by patting all over where that foundation is and blending it out. And I just like to tap. So I go in and I tap, I push it into the skin.
I didn't see her drag it over in her video, but I'm gonna drag it over because I don't like the feeling of not having foundation on my
it may look like I'm swiping or whatever, but I'm literally just going in and like.
So the foundation has been blended out. Now the next thing she moves on to is the concealer. I thought I was nervous about the foundation. I'm nervous about the concealer because I've never blended out my concealer with a brush before, and that is exactly what she uses.
Concealer dries, so by the time I'm done putting everything on and I go to blend out that foundation, it's already dried down. So it's easy to blend and make it look, you know, airbrushed on the skin because you let it dry down a lot. Go in and I'm just gonna tap it. Y'all see how the bottom of the brush is touching and the top really isn't? It looked like it is when I'm going faster, but honestly the top really isn't touching like that.
Now that the contour is all blended out, now I'm going to set my powder also using a brush. Anyway, I never set my under eye with a brush, so I'm a little bit nervous about that, but at this point I've done a lot of things that made me nervous, so this couldn't hurt. I see she's using this brush, but I am going to set my eye using my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter translucent setting powder in the shade Honey. So yeah, this is my first time attempting to use powder. I mean, using a brush to set my powder. under my eye. I think I did okay for this to be my first attempt. It was dust away my contour powder. I don't ever let my contour powder have to do that, but it's cool. I'm gonna let this kind of like bake under my eyes because I am about to do eyeshadow and I don't want you know, fallout getting on my, you know, highlight or whatever. I'm not very used to doing my makeup in this order, so I'm a little bit all over the place. But nonetheless, we are moving on to the eyes finally. And then we'll come back to skin, of course, because we just have some final touches. So the first thing I'm gonna do is set my eye using the P. Louise base in the shade Rumor 07. What I'm gonna do is take my Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette with Morphe, of course. And I'm going to be taking the shade, Therapy Sesh. I'm going to begin by just placing that into my crease. Now I'm going to go into this dark purple here in the shade Not My Journey and just place it over the Therapy Sesh color. Going back into that Therapy Sesh shade, which was the lilac looking purple that I first started with, and I'm going to just go back and blend out the edges with that color. So I am going to cut my crease in this video and I'm going to use my ABH primer. Now that the creases are cut, I am going to blend out the edges, going in with that purple shade that I used. I think that was called Therapy. No, it was called Not My Journey. For the lid shade, I am going to my Resi palette, and I have been dying to use this blue shade Leo. I never knew how I was going to use it or incorporate it into a look, but I have finally figured it out, so I hope this works, and that is what I'm going to use. I almost forgot that I wanted to put a little glitter on the outer corner of my lid. And I want to take this jumbo glitter I got from Hobby Lobby. I don't know how safe it is to put this size glitter on your eye. Okay, so we're gonna go back into skin and I'm gonna use my Fenty Beauty bronzer in the shade Mocha Mommy. Well, I'm going to be going in with my Milani blush in the shade Coral Cove. I realized I forgot to put my bronzer over my nose contour, so I'm going to go back in. So I'm going to go in with my Wet n Wild loose highlighter powder, and I'm in the shade Hustle and Glow, and I'm just going to highlight my cheeks. So I'm going to take this Wet n Wild eye pencil and I'm going to line my waterline. So I'm going to go back into my Jaclyn Hill palette and I'm going to take the two purple shades that I used, which was Therapy Sesh and Not My Journey, the darker purple and the lilac shade. I'm just taking my KKW liner in the shade New 3 and my usual Morphe mattifying lipstick in the shade Single AF. I'm going to take this Morphe gloss in the shade Pixie. take my Wet n Wild liner and just add some beauty marks. I'm going to take my Morphe Sweet Peach setting spray. Shout out to my boyfriend, he actually got me this. And I didn't even know they had setting spray. He was just creeping on Sweet Tea's page and was like, hey, do you want this? I'm like, oh, yeah. This is what the packaging looks like. It's just mini size, but it's really cute and it smells good. So this is the completed look. If you like how this came out, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I like the way everything came out. I'm really impressed with me being able to like persevere with doing my makeup like Tailor Made Jane. That technique really just challenged me because I had to step out of my comfort zone and just do things in a completely different order. Normally I start with eyes, then go to skin. And so even though like I pretty much feel like I got like, you know, a similar result, like I can still see the difference and I can still see that I'm definitely more snatched in areas. Like I noticed that like my bronzer like really pops out 10 times more than it normally would with the way that I normally apply it. So this is definitely like a technique that I will do like every now and then because it was really different. It would take me a lot to get used to it and probably more like off camera time getting used to it. But nonetheless, I like how everything came out with the eyeshadow and just the highlighter. Everything just looks snatched. Even my nose, I don't think I've snatched my nose like this hard since I first started doing makeup because like, you know, I used to have to try to prove like, look, I contour and you can see the difference in my nose. But now, you know, I just typically go for a softer look. That's why I just primarily bronze. But nonetheless, you know, if you like this look, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Comment and subscribe as well, and follow your girl on social media, and everything else will definitely be linked down below. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Stay beautiful.